Hi everyone, it's Joy from Denver, Colorado, and I am really excited about sharing some things with you for World Card Making Day 2021. I will be using the Frosted Gingerbread bundle. It is part of the Gingerbread and Peppermint suite, which is in the current mini catalog. It also comes with these really fun Adorning Designs decorative masks that I'll be using and showing you how to use. The Frosted Gingerbread stamp set has some really great greetings. It has some holiday ones, but then it has some that really aren't necessarily holiday, like the Sending You Peppermint Kisses and the You're the Icing to My Gingerbread. I love those two. And then the gingerbread dies come with this bundle, and there are lots of fun dies. And they cut out elements from the designer series paper that is in this pack. So you'll just have to look at those pages. They're towards the front of that mini catalog and really check those out. I'm going to be attempting to record this live and unedited, so please bear with me if I stumble over my words or if I say something funny. Just laugh and leave me some comments in the post that this is in, and it'll all be good. So I don't know if you've ever seen anyone use the Stamparatus to do the masks. Now, I'm not using the foam pad. I am just using some of the size to fit scratch paper that you can get, the grid paper, and then directly on that base. And then my magnets, I've got some washi tape here, and I have cut some pieces of the basic white. I actually took an 8.5 by 11 sheet and cut it into 4. If you are in a country that has a different size, I think you could still just cut that paper into quarters and go from there. I like to make it just a little bit larger than what I need for my project. And let's see, we're going to bring in one of these masks. Now, I found that the shiny side, having the shiny side up, seemed to be just slightly better when you're using the blending brushes, which is what I'm going to be using. So let's just move those, and yeah, be careful. Those little boogers like to stick together, and then if they clack together too hard, they'll break. So you kind of have to be careful with those little magnets and keep them away from each other because they don't really play nice together. So let's go ahead and blending brush and bring in some old olive ink. Now, the blending brushes, I find that you have a little more control if you kind of grasp the head like so, kind of pinch it between your fingers, and then get a good amount of ink. You're going to have to load it with a good amount of ink to start off with, and then you kind of want to start off on a piece of scratch paper and then go on to where you want to put it, because otherwise you'll get a lot of really dark places that you don't necessarily want. So that's some good ink. So just gonna kind of work my way up so that it kind of gets lighter as we go up. Maybe I can push that into the camera a little bit more. Let me move this so that we can have that a little bit more into the camera. And I'm trying, you try to start out light, because you can't really take away, but you can always add. So I'm going to do it like that. And then we're going to kind of come in and get it darker. And then kind of work it up to the middle. Because we're kind of going for an ombre look here. And then get a little bit of that off, and then maybe smooth this out up at the top here a little bit. And hopefully that has done what I want it to. Move my magnets out of the way here and lift this up. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So as you can see, we've got kind of the ombre going with darker and more medium and lighter up at the top. Again, I've made it a little bit larger than I wanted, so I can cut it down, so I can trim that part off. So let's get prepared. Close up my ink pad so I don't get old olive where I don't want it. And let's set my washi tape up again. And let's bring in another piece of the basic white cardstock. We're going to use a different mask this time. This time we're going to be using this mask. So it's kind of like, you know, gingerbread icing is what this one kind of looks like. So we're just going to kind of eyeball that a little bit and get our magnets back. Let's see, put one on one side and one on the other side. Kind of hold that in place. And then we're going to bring in another blending brush. Now you can wash these blending brushes, or you can just, you know, keep them in color families. I have found that just, you know, some water and a little bit of mild soap works really well for the blending brushes. It'll clean out most of that ink if you clean it out fairly quickly after you're done. So let's get some going here. Now this one, it's got these like stripey going, so you really do have to kind of get your fingers down there. And this is definitely a technique where you don't want to be afraid of inky fingers, because your fingers are gonna get inky. And you know, when we were kids growing up, the messier things were, the more fun they were. Of course, you know, being a recovering perfectionist, I'm sure none of you can relate to that. Sometimes it's hard to remember, and it has taken me many years to remember that things do not have to be perfect, and everything has its own charm, especially when it's handmade. Just gonna keep working that. And I forgot to I forgot to go off before there, so I've got a little darker spot there. But you know what? I think we may just make that work for us before we get done with this. So we're kind of trying to go lighter to start with, and then we'll build our color as we go along. And I think I'm going to go for kind of a vintage look with this. So everything is not exactly the same ink intensity. And right there where I got it really dark, I'm going to go ahead And I'm going to add more ink to those 2 rows there so that it looks like I've done that on purpose. And then I'm going to add some more up here. Kind of do it the same. So we're going to have some areas are going to be darker and some areas are going to be lighter. Sometimes it's fun to just kind of play with that and really, you know, get that kind of going. Kind of hold that down so it doesn't bounce around on us too much. All right, let's take a look at that one. I think it's going to be very pretty. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Kind of a vintagey, not too perfect. I think I could make that work as a background on a card. And let's go for another one here. This time I'm going to use the snowflake decorative mask in this set. It also does come with stripes, and I think I'll hold off on the stripes. I'm going to have some samples for you. Well, see, I just got ink everywhere, so you might want to clean your hands in between this. So let's just flip that over and use our emergency side of our cardstock. And you probably can't hear that. Maybe you can. I just wiped my fingers on my jeans. You know, that is pretty much why I wear jeans when I'm crafting, because then I can just use them to wipe my fingers off if I need to. I'm sure none of you have ever done anything like that. Well, now we're going to bring in a third blending brush and some Pool Party ink. Again, holding it between your 2 front fingers, you know, like so. Maybe this one as well, and then your thumb. And we're going to start out and go light. Again, you probably should do it on scratch paper first, and then come in with some light ink. And just kind of work that. You don't have to press hard. Just kind of go in a circular motion. And just keep working it around. Making sure you get all of the areas. And if you didn't want to do the entire mask, if you could always take Post-it notes and mask off part of those snowflakes or whatever you're doing, whatever your mask is, and kind of mask it off with a Post-it note so that you wouldn't get ink where you didn't want it. I'm almost finished with this first layer of ink on here. That all looks pretty good. Now I'm going to bring in some Coastal Cabana ink. which is just a slightly darker shade. And since it's basically the same color, I'm not going to wash this blender pen. I mean, not pen, blender brush. Yeah, I told you I would mess up on something. But, you know, hey, go ahead and have a chuckle on me. And we'll just keep going. So I'm just kind of putting this in some areas, not all over, because I just want to add a little bit kind of around the edges of these snowflakes to give them just a little more definition. And I guess I don't need to wipe this off. I think full strength is going to be okay on this. You just have to play with it when you're doing yours and make sure that you get it the way you like it. That's the beauty of card making, isn't it? You can kind of do things to your own taste. All right, so let's close up this ink pad and take a peek. Oh, beautiful. Very pretty. So let's go ahead and put this Stamparatus away for now. And I've gone ahead and cut down a piece to match my card layer. And I'm bringing in some real red. I really like doing the pool party and cabana and Bermuda Bay type colors with the red. I think they really complement each other well. So as you can see, I've cut that down just a little bit. And let's see, let's go ahead and bring in our Sending You Peppermint Kisses and our Bermuda Bay ink. Just give that a little ink. You don't have to press real hard, just kind of a tap, tap, tap. Hopefully I'm not jiggling the table. Sometimes I tend to get a little overly zealous with that. And I can't see directly overhead, so hopefully I'm getting that centered on there because my camera is right where my head would be. Hopefully I'm not getting my head in the shot and in your way. There's that piece. Let's let that dry just a minute. And let's bring this piece in and some of the Pool Party sheer ribbon. This one is a really nice ribbon that goes with a lot of things. I have a short piece that I have cut at, let's see, approximately 3 inches, and if you are doing metric, I think that's 7.5 centimeters. Don't quote me on that. You'll need to double check me. And then about 7.5 inches, and I really don't know how long that is. Just kind of, you know, eyeball it and kind of do 1 3/4 of whatever your layer is. That's a pretty good measurement. So you may have seen this bow tying technique. You take a long piece of ribbon and you start to tie a knot, and then you leave this little loop here, and then you take the short piece and you slide that underneath that knot, and then you pull and you tighten the long piece around the short piece. And then you can kind of twist that and play with that a little bit. I have one that I've already kind of played with, so I'll just bring that one in. And I'm going to put this on this card at, about here. So let's bring in some Stampin' Seal. And let's get that attached on the back. There we are. And I think we can go ahead and attach this piece. So basically I just sized it to my greeting, and then did a layer that was a 1/4 of an inch on 2 sides, which I think a 1/4 of an inch is like 1/2 of a centimeter. And go ahead and mount those 2 pieces together, leaving an even border all the way around. And now that I've got my ribbon on, I can go ahead and attach that to the front of my card. Again, this is, you know, a little bit smaller. It's got a 1/4 of an inch on 2 sides, or like I said, 1/2 of a centimeter. Go ahead and mount these together, and a standard real red card base, which is a 1/2 of a full sheet of cardstock, whatever that size that is in your country. And let's go ahead and put this down. About right there. So I'm trying to make this a fairly simple card because, you know, it is World Card Making Day, and when I think of World Card Making Day, I think of just a time when you just make a bunch of quick cards. So that's why I kept my layers to a minimum. And let's go ahead and put some seal directly on. Oh, and I've die cut out these peppermints from the designer series paper that goes with the suite. I think it's Gingerbread and Peppermint, I think is the name of it. There's one there. And then I need a couple of dimensionals. I'm going to bring in my minis. And I use all of my dimensionals. As you can see, I've already used some of those edge pieces. Don't want to let any of that go to waste. Let's go ahead and put this on with a dimensional, and then this one on with a dimensional that goes up here. And then I am bringing in some of the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels. I believe this is the Coastal Cabana color. And let's see. Let's grab my Take Your Pick tool and the spatula end. And let's put a couple of little rhinestones on here to just give this just an extra little pizzazz, because just about everything is better with a little bling. Okay. A good rule of thumb is to do in threes, to work in threes or odd numbers, because odd numbers are always more pleasing to the eye. So let me see. I need to give my ribbon just a little trim here, and then this card will be complete. Now I went ahead and took pieces that I had used my blending brushes and those Adorning designs for the decorative mass, and I went ahead and made cards with them. So you've got that one and that one and that one. And don't worry if you don't get your stripes exactly. I kind of like this kind of vintagey look, how it came out. So there you are. There are 4 quick and easy cards. These 2 pieces are also cut out of that Gingerbread and Peppermint designer series paper. So here I can go ahead and leave these out here for a minute while I finish talking. Now, if you would like to order from my website, you can reach it via stampwithjoy.com, which is my blog, and then from there you can go to my shopping cart. And if you use the host code for today's event, you can get something from me. I will send you a special PDF that has recipe tutorials for several cards, and all in that one video, so you get several card ideas, and I will send those to you if you place an order from me during this event. So anyway, I think we are done for now, and I really hope you like this video. I think I succeeded in getting this done and not making too many boo-boos. So happy card making day. Bye.